I think one of the most important things to consider when discussing ghost lore in Appalachia is that this region was primarily settled by the Scotch-Irish. And these people brought with them their belief in ghosts and witches and signs and omens and Catholicism. And where I'm at right now is the St. Bernard Catholic Church, which is one of the earliest bastions of that faith in what is currently central West Virginia. Now, there's been a church here since the 1850s, and a lot of the people that are buried in this graveyard were originally from Ireland. The building you see here it was erected in 1910 by a priest named Thomas Quirk, who lived in a rectory on the hill behind it. And right before he died, he was given the title of Monsignor, so he gets this rather ostentatious grave here. Now, he's said to haunt this church, and for the most part, he does so by protecting it from vandals and theft. It's said that if you try to pick up a Bible and carry it out of there, it gets heavier and heavier and heavier as you get closer to the front door until eventually you can't hold it any longer. Neat. But there is a rather tragic and sad ghost story concerning this place as well. And it has to do with this tombstone you see next to the fence, away from all the others. That belongs to a young man named John Kennedy. He committed suicide when he was 19 years old, back in 1872. And because that's a mortal sin, he couldn't be buried on sacred ground. So they buried him on the slope there leading down to the road. But his family was able to convince the church to erect his stone, here inside the churchyard. You can see his name there, and he's got a little footstone right next to his headstone. Now, he's said to appear as a shadow figure along this stretch of road, and quite a few folks have reported seeing him. He's also thought to be responsible for the cemetery gates swinging open and closed by themselves all the time. They're heavy cast iron with doorknob kind of handles on them, so the wind wouldn't be doing that. And occasionally, folks at night passing by have seen a candlelight in the church windows facing this graveyard, and they think that that's him. I don't know about that. Another weird thing about this whole story is that people, when they discuss it, often say, oh, there was a big conflict between young John Kennedy and the priest Thomas Quirk that kind of amplifies the hauntings. And no one ever says what it is. And I thought, what could the conflict between a Catholic priest in rural Appalachia and a young man who commits suicide be? So that's the story. Thank you for listening. And on that subject of suicide, it's at an all-time high right now. We're at a year into quarantine. If you have a friend who's going through difficult times, please pick up the phone, give them a call. It can make all the difference in the world. Thanks. It's kind of sad, and I wish I had a shovel so I could dig him up and bury him inside the fence and piss God off.